Good evening, everyone, and this is a prelude to our family monthly budget. I'm here with my husband Joshua. My name is Charlene, and we're going to discuss how you can budget your meager finances. The reason why I use it with meager because a lot of persons believe that they need to make a lot of money to budget monthly. We have designed a template that you can use and that we have been using for years in terms of where you can plug in your monthly salary, allowances, anything that you collect monthly in terms of deciding how it is you're going to save, how you're going to pay taxes, how you're going to plan long-term and short-term goals, and for others, just for spending money. So Joshua, as we go into our session this evening, let's show our viewers how it is we plan our monthly budget.
All right, so I'm going to share my screen, and with this particular budget file, we're also going to share it on our website. So in the actual video we're going to be doing, we will display a link. You'll take it to Vivid Resolutions website and you'll get a link. You could download it and customize it. It's very flexible and you will be able to adjust it as necessary. Now, we try to use random numbers, but it's still going to be relevant. So it has 3 sheets. You'll see a summary sheet as the first part of the sheet. You're going to see a monthly income, which is where you want to start. And then you're going to go into the details on the monthly expenses. Now, we left some numbers in just to kind of give you some context. And there's some other things we're going to go through. And this is about our beliefs. And it has nothing to do with how you choose to use this. But we're just going to demonstrate, how we use this. And I'll tell you, the first time I did this, it was a bit daunting. As a man, you're sitting with your wife and she's almost telling you how to spend your money. So it took a little getting used to. I mean, it took a lot getting used to, especially if you have a family member that wants to borrow some money, but now you're budgeting together, and you can't money just can't disappear.
You have to discuss it beforehand.
Yeah, so it forces you to kind of discuss how you're going to do it. The other thing you're going to find out as we go through with budget, every penny should be accounted for. There should be no dollar or cents that's not accounted for. Down to your spending money, you need to account for it. So everything must be working. All right. So the first thing you're going to see, as we said, we're going to start with your monthly income. We just give random names. And as I said, family member income 1, family member income 2. So let's assume, I'm just going to, when the year started, I was the one making most of the money. COVID came, salary got cut. So really and truly, this needs to be you, Charlene, because, you're actually having a full salary and my salary is cut. You know what I mean? So this is Joshua here. And really, I think I should raise yours because you're working for way more than I do. So let's say you're working.
Don't take him on. I'm still making $5.
Let's say you're working for $9,500, and this looks more. It's more like I'm working for $6,000. So let's say that's our salary right now. So you put in the salary first, and then we're gonna go to the monthly expense. We've done a little customizing for you on this sheet just to kind of get you accustomed to what you want to use. So the first thing you're going to see is the name of your expenses, and we've left some spaces out and so on, so you could change that
and you could add more
you can't really mess it up, and hopefully you'll be able to make some adjustments as need be. So you have the item, then you have the category. Now these category, you could kind of change it, but ideally I would prefer that it's left because it's, and I'm going to show you why. You really shouldn't have to change this for most cases. The amount is the total amount budgeted for this particular item, and then you want to look at each person and the allocation that each person is going to have. So as we said, Charlene, you're the one that's bringing most of the money this right now in the family. So this is going to be Charlene here, and then Joshua's on this side. So hopefully you're following with us so far. Now, as we get down, you want to put the things that you're going to be seeing. So
rent, mortgage,
whatever it is that you're doing, the figure, you will change whatever your figure is. So let's assume that our rent maybe was $3,500, but with this COVID time, I'm happy that hopefully your landlord feels sorry for you, and he brings down the rent, or the mortgage. So let's assume your mortgage is about $2,500, and this is where you just have to be honest with what's going on. In some cases, we may have to agree to say, hey, Charlene, you're working for most of the money right now. I think you take the rent, and maybe I'll take something else in a month. So we might say, hey, Charlene, you really got to take the rent this month and so on. But before I even get there is, even though this is not in this particular order, both Charlene and myself are Christians. The first thing we do is take out tithe and offering, right? And again, this may not apply to you, and that's totally fine. But we're telling you what we do, right? As our belief is, our tithe is something that is spiritual, and 10% of our gross salary belongs to God, and we try to return that.
Your gross salary is before taxes?
Yeah. So even before we pay our tax, we look at our salary. We see our salary is $9,500, $6,000. We automatically are saying there, Charlene, her tithe is $950 minus $600. We also try to practice at minimum returning at least 5% of our salary as well as offering as well. So instantly we look at that, and we're already seeing that. Then Charlie may say, hey, I'm going to return, even though our tithe and offering in total is going to be basically 15% of what we're earning, and you will do that in a calculator or something. I use Excel a lot, so I'm gonna do a quick calculation just to see what that total is. So and I'm messing up our template, but so let's assume that's the total salary, and we would know, okay, we want to calculate 15% of this. But you could do this in a regular calculator or something, but as I said, I use Excel a lot, so we're automatically recognizing that our tithe and offering is going to be somewhere around 25. So that's just to give us an idea of what it is. So I'm going to put our total offering here, 23.25, and then we will look at what that is individually for each person. So let's assume in Charlene's case, maybe that's something like $1,500, and I'm just going to do the difference. So this is not exact as that may be, but it's really should be about 15%. But that's the first thing we do, all right? I'm rushing that there, but essentially in principle, we try to return 15% at minimum for tithe and offering.
Yep.
And then from there, we also try to establish what's going to be our savings. And that comes with planning.
Long-term savings,
Yeah.
mid-term savings. I love to travel, so savings for traveling. Traveling will come soon again. And then other items, other things that you may want to buy or purchase or do in the future. So you save for that as well. Then you might have immediate savings, short-term goals, things that you would want to acquire. So you have savings for that as well. So, so we cater for all those different types of saving. And interestingly, we put them in different accounts, but that is another topic again.
Yeah, but Charlie, I want to ask a question. Somebody's listening to us right now and saying, I don't know about you, but I have so much expenses, I can't save. I mean, I have bills to pay, I have kids to send to school, I have school fee, I have grocery, I have a loan. How I can't save? What do you say to somebody like that that's trying to do this budget, and we're talking to them about all these savings?
One thing I've noticed that we always say I can't without actually taking our time to observe what it is we have and what it is we're doing. No, you collect a salary, but the first thing you do is to go out and pay bills. You don't first decide, look through your bills and expenses and see what do I have. Some of the expenses you have, you can actually push them back. You can adjust them to suit, because they may not even be expenses that let's put it, that is important or priority, because you might have created some of those expenses that you don't need. Some things you just don't need. Now, I'm not talking about paying a child's school fee. That's different. That can be adjusted. But if you put it out on paper and you count it out before you start to spend, you'll actually see you might have $1 remain. Now, if it is you decide, even if it's $1 a day or $1 a week you're going to save, you're going to be amazed. Can you imagine saving $1 a day or $1 a week and realize that if there are 52 weeks in a year, you could save $52? You'll be shocked. So I say, give it a try. What do you actually have to lose? And we're going to show you how we could demonstrate how it could be done in a budgeting sheet, that it doesn't matter how little you save, you'll actually appreciate it in the long run.
And this is what I would say. At minimum, you should try to save 5% of your salary. Start there. Take it out, irrespective of what, and do so. We personally try to save more, and which means we do the opposite. If we put in it aside that, and we try to save about 25% of our salary. And I want to go across on our sheet here, because this section here is kind of letting you know what you're actually spending and what should be your goal. And your goal might be different, but I'm saying personally, we started out trying to save 5%, and then we tried to grow it, which meant we had to reduce our expenses, and we had to be very, very, critical on what we spend. If it is that, if you can't save 5% then, and you have cable, then probably you shouldn't have cable.
You don't need cable.
You probably should just stick with internet, watch YouTube. Literally, you got to look at cutting out. Are you eating out? Are you trying to save? Then probably you shouldn't be eating out.
No, make a sandwich.
Yeah.
Cook some pasta. Save some dollars. You don't need to be spending so much to go. You could pick a particular day of the week or a particular day of the month to entertain yourself. But sometimes we spend too much without actually planning. Some things we just don't need. Because trust me, eating a home cooked food is much better than buying the food out there.
All right. So, and that's the kind of order you want to try to do this. If you're someone that is, a Bible believing Christian, then you should be taking out your tithe and offering first.
Yep.
The second thing you want to do is look at your savings. What are your goals? Do you want to travel? Do you want to invest in building or getting a house, building an apartment, some sort of investment? We believe that you want to think of your investment first. One of the investment approach we take, one of those is Roytrin and UTC, and these are good places, stable places where you could get. Don't just put your money in a savings account. You're not going to get any interest. If anything, you're going to probably lose money because
you're going to pay monthly charges.
Yeah, they're going to charge you $25, $10 a month to use. So use that almost as like a check-in. Don't just keep money in your savings. Open some sort of long-term saving, and even if it means you're going to put $50, most of these you could start. I think Roytrin, you could start with $100.
You could even
UTC,
use a
$100.
credit union, because some persons may not feel that they can afford or go to Roytrin or UTC, but you can start with a credit union who have a shares account and receive towards that, because a share has monthly yearly interest. So you can even go that way. Start small for some persons, and some persons who are a little bit more risk takers, you could go UTC. They're easy to open an account with, and trust me, the investment is actually good.
But the funny thing is, even as you say that, I don't see that as a huge risk. Especially do your research. As I said, especially with both of those, you would see the different account. I personally have an income and growth fund, and I've seen returns in between 8 to 15% of interest.
Well, actually, when I said risk, I didn't mean risk in losing money. Some persons think going into those kind of ventures is a risk. So I meant risk in terms of, just taking a chance into something that you may not believe or trust, because some persons might be more comfortable with the sort of family unit in terms of a credit union style.
So we ought to save some of these for tomorrow. We're going to be doing the live tomorrow, so we really got to get back to the sheet. So let's get back to the sheet. Let's just show you how we're going to use this. So again, you want to look at your savings, and so we come almost to the bottom of this sheet, and we have several different types of savings section here. We have like a medium term saving. Is it something that you're going to want to travel for? Is it something you need to buy a new bed? The children are outgrowing the double bunk and you need to get something that's going to be medium term. You want to save towards it. You already have established, well, this bed is going to cost $4,000, and you want to get it by the end of the year. So you decide, you know what, $4,000, if I divide that by in 10 months, then I already know that I'm going to need to save $400 a month. So you might decide that, hey, both of us is saving for this bed. We might then decide we need to save $400 a month. So, and we may say, hey, you're going to put aside 200 and I'm going to put aside 200 in our accounts. And this is another thing we're talking about. Everyone is different. Why we have practiced having joint accounts, and we also have our individual account, and nothing is wrong with that. You got to see it as, and it took me a while, you know, it's like, it's your account, it's my account, it's my money, your money. No. If you're doing a family budget, it's the family's money. So it doesn't matter if it's sitting in Charlene's account or my account, it's our money. We have to budget it like that, and that's tough to do when we want to spend our own money. But if you want to get somewhere together, you got to start thinking like that. So if it is that you're saying that your savings, your total is here, make sure the allocation is the same as well. So if it's $200 here, then you want to make sure then in your case, if you're the one that's going to be doing this part, then you will change that and you will say, okay, it's $200. I want you to notice what I've done as well. To the bottom of the sheet is giving you a running total of how much you're spending and what your actual salary is. So I'm already seeing that Charlene is over budgeted. So she's already over by $1,600. I still have funds available. So that's a good indication that she needs to shed some of that to make sure it comes back in line with what she's supposed to be getting. So I'm going to start back from the top. We're going to go through this and see, okay, what are some of the things? And some of these are actual things that we do from time to time. So we're gonna go through this now. So okay, so I've already seen an error. I combined both of our tithe and offering here, and that's one of the reasons why we're having that. So originally, let's assume that your tithe and offering, Charlene, was $1,500, and I'm gonna put your $1,500 there, and I'm gonna assume that mine was about $900, and I'm going to use mine here to say that that's 900. I'm gonna come up. You might have a phone plan. I use one of the phone plan, a prepaid plan, and these are things you have to discuss as well. You may not need a postpaid plan if you're someone that's can't afford it right now. Also, are you topping up every week? You know, sometimes you might, if you really watch it, you might be spending more
than a plan
than if you had just gotten a month plan and it came with data, maybe 3 gigs worth of data. This is another thing. You know, I try to install apps on my phone to monitor the amount of data I'm using, so it actually divides it up by the day, so you could tell how many data I should be using on a day-to-day basis, right? So we have a mobile plan. Charlene, what about you? I see you have a mobile plan here, but I don't have one. What do you do? Do you need to be spending on your phone this month? How do you normally treat with your mobile spending?
I let the good Lord lead me.
What does that mean? What does that mean? God take care of your bill?
God take care of that bill.
TSC is not taking that or digital. So like, how much will you be spending on your phone?
About the same thing.
About $225. So then if that's the case, and we're both paying for a bill, so then we're probably going to be spending like about $450. So if you're doing $225, and I'm going to be doing $225 as well. All right. So we've returned our tithe and offering. Salon, barber. Now I had $500 here for Charlene. I know Charlene, you have a nice hair, but are you going to be doing your hair this month? You know, what are you going to be doing to your hair?
I'll save for this month.
So you're gonna rock natural and so you need to spend anything there?
No, I'm not spending anything this month.
All right, so Shawnee's not doing anything on the here. If you see her on the road, you know, don't be too harsh on her. You have a loan, you know. So if you, in this case, I have an example of like a credit union loan. I'm using the category here as a debt, right? And this is a drop down, and it really falls into a few categories. It's either debt or another expense. If it's a loan, try to leave it as a debt. And I'm assuming that it's $1,000. But since Charlene is already paying, I'm seeing here, there's $1,000 I was paying. Charlene is already paying the rent. And this is the way you have to be looking at certain things. If Charlene is paying the rent, it might have mean then that I really should be doing that loan. Hopefully I'm paying that loan that's going to be addressed now. And you're starting to balance your expenses to make sense out of what you're doing. See, what we're talking about monthly fees, we put this in. You know, we have a bank account at RBC, and the monthly charge is $15 a month. You got a budget for that. I mean, you don't leave anything out. Everything that's going to be there, you have included. Internet. We have an internet bill. It's, in our case, it's about $224. I'm budgeted that I'm going to take that. Now here we have personal care. You got to allocate, you know, and it's under me, but originally this was really Charlene. Charlene really have. And not that I don't take care of myself, but I don't really put aside, you know, I buy a shave, I shave my head now. I don't need to get as much there, but this is like your personal care things, deodorant, you know, for Charlene and everything else.
And I buy him a deodorant too. So yeah.
All right. So in her case, she's gonna do most of that. It's gonna be most of that's gonna be in her case. And now let's assume I have $100 just for some shavers and things like that. And now here's an important part: spending money. This is real. You should set aside what your spending money is going to be. It shouldn't be what's left over. No. You should budget. How much money do I need to have as spending money? Yep. Everything else should either be in savings, investment, or if you're not going towards a bill. We typically, and this is us, this is literally, we don't budget to have more than $100 a week on us. And that's it. That's what we budget for. Unless it's a special occasion and we try to put that in for some dinner or something like that, it's going to be some. So we typically have $400 a month as budget. Whatever works for you, you would include it there. Is there some other savings you had? You know, I have a Scotia account, and this is why it's important to have different accounts to do, because if the money is there, you're gonna spend it.
Trust me, you're gonna spend it.
So if you want to save, do not try to save in the same account. It don't work. Once it's there, I know I spend it. I remember it's there. I feel hungry. I pass a Chinese restaurant and I'm feeling for Chinese. I pass KFC. I'm feeling, well, you know, shouldn't really. I'm trying to cut down on that. But the reality is, don't leave it in the same account. Get another bank account. If it's credit union, you know, or whatever works. But don't use the same account to save that you're using to spend. Separate it, right? You have a life insurance. I have a life insurance. Charlene have a life insurance. So if you have something like that, you want to include it. I just have a basic figure there. School fee for the kids. You're paying school fee. There's some other expense here. It's time to get their books, uniform, whatever it is. They have a section there for school fee. You put in your school fee. I have it that I'm going to be covering the school fee. Do you have any credit cards? You know, in sometimes in both of our cases, you know, both of us now have a credit card, and don't talk about credit cards. If you're going to have a credit card, please don't spend
what you don't have.
What you don't have. You know, I'm preaching to myself. I mean, Charlene is much better at handling credit cards. I see the credit card as like my money to spend. It's not our money, and I'm talking to me.
You're borrowing the money.
You're borrowing it. It's a loan. You don't want that minimum payments to catch up with you. So if you don't have it,
don't spend it.
Don't like literally don't. All right. So put in your credit. Try to pay your credit card bill. Don't just pay the minimum payment. Pay it off as soon as possible, and shift that money to investment or savings. All right. So if you have a credit card, you're gonna want to spend it. So Charlene, I think you've covered quite a bit of those charges. So I'm gonna see if I could handle the credit card. Then we have taxes. Now, for taxes, I have a website here that I found that could help you to calculate your taxes. I'm gonna put a link to it as well. It's salariestt.com. So in our case, we had, Charlene, that you were working for $9,500. So let's see what your tax would have been. So this is now showing what Charlene would be paying in taxes. So I'm just going to take what the net pay is so that I could calculate what her actual tax is going to be. So I know that her salary is $9,500, and I'm just going to take out what that she's just saying as well. So what I'm seeing for taxes here, Charlene really should have been paying. So this figure really should be there. That should be Charlene's salary. And I am just going to make sure that figure don't change. And then I'm going to calculate mine. So I said my salary is $6,000, and I'm going to go back to that website. I'm going to say my salary is $6,000. I'm just going to check what the take-home salary is. So I'm already realizing that I'm going to be struggling at the end of this month. I really need to brace on Charlene to help me get through. This COVID period is rough, boy. And it's probably rough for a lot of us, but even that's the reason why we need this more than anything. So I want to be coming down, I'm checking, and I'm seeing I'm way over budget. And that's what you got to keep doing. I'm seeing Charlene here have more of that. So I'm already seeing I have to shift like about $900 over to Charlene to handle. So like the school fee, man, Charlene, you got to take care of that. I can't do the school fee.
It's like a homeschool.
Nah. Right, so I'm seeing, okay, I'm fairly balanced there, but what I'm seeing, Charlene now have about $1,300 of, that's not her money. Right away, I'm telling Charlene, hey, we're coming down here. We're looking at the savings. This is Charlene, long-term savings. You want to consider that in some sort of investment or something. So assuming this is Charlene, and I'm seeing that she has some money left over there. It's about $1,300. So I'm instantly telling her, you got to increase that into long-term savings to make sure that so there's about $350 left. We've already allocated grocery and those kind of things. It's fine. Savings, put it towards your savings. Don't just consider that as spending money. No, this should be zero as much as possible. There should be no leftover money anywhere. So in my case, I have an extra $100. So I'm going to try and make sure I add that to my long-term saving. And when I talk about long-term savings, we're talking about some sort of investment that you're going to be making some sort of compound interest or something. It could be in a business. It could be something that you're going to invest in yourself to do better, that you could keep making some sort of money. And so Charlene, you have an extra $300 there. I would say, hey, put that in a medium-term savings. Maybe we're thinking of traveling after COVID has passed and so forth, and we could get by. So I'm going to put that as 500, and I'm now seeing we have about maybe $7 or $7. That's not bad. I mean, that's where you want to be looking at. Now, what you have on the right here is just to give you how you're actually spending your money.
In the percentage format.
In a percentage format. So this is just as a gauge for you. So we're seeing we're very close. We're returning 15% tithe and offering. That's kind of part of our goal. That's like where we want to get. Now our goal is to be saving 25%, but we are at 18, so we know we have some work to do. You can't get rid, some of your expenses just what it is, but you gotta still work towards getting this down. So we're saying that maybe our debt, maybe the goal is 10% and it's under that. If you're paying a mortgage, you can't do much about that. But if there's other areas where I could shift this down, my taxes is what it is. Can't get away from taxes. Can't get away from paying taxes. But the expenses, you may want to, if you're really serious about trying to get to that, you may literally want to go back to your expenses and see, hey, is there any way we could buy less groceries this month? Is there anything we could do?
Unfortunately, no. We're eating healthy.
And that might not happen, but you will look through your expenses. You'll see if there's anything else that you could do, and that's about it. At the end of the day, we share this, and like, what's your advice, Sean? So, what's the next thing you do after we finish this and we save this for the month? What do you do next?
transfer all the money to the relevant account and get it out of my savings account so I don't spend it.
I mean, and that's just it. Pay everything you need to pay. Don't wait. Put everything that you need to get to the go through it. Let this be almost like a to-do list. Do it immediately. Pay your bills. Put aside your savings. Return your tithe and offering if that's something that you normally would do. Get it out. Pay your rent and so on, and make sure that you're only left with your spending money. And in that way, you get into that habit, and you're going to get better at it. All right. So we hope this has been useful to you. We look forward to our live chat where we're going to be talking more about how we started this, what has worked for us, what hasn't worked. And if you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section. And we look forward to just continue to sharing what are the things that we've actually helped us during our couples talk. Anything from you, Charlene?
Spend wisely.
All right. So have a good one until the next video.
Okay. Bye, everyone.